Imagine your body gets an update tonight, not a better brain, not stronger muscles, just one small design change. Tomorrow morning, you wake up, walk to the mirror, and your nose has only one giant nostril, not two, just one big breathing hole in the middle of your face. It looks horrible, but after the shock, you start thinking, wait, maybe this is actually better. One big nostril means more space for air. More air means easier breathing. No more one nostril being blocked. No more lying on one side at night just to make the other nostril open. No more feeling like half your nose has stopped working. So at first, one giant nostril sounds like an upgrade. But here is the problem. Your nose is not just an air hole, and breathing is not just about making the biggest opening possible. Your nose is more like a biological air control machine. It filters air, it warms air, it adds moisture, it helps you smell, it protects your lungs, and it quietly manages airflow without you noticing. So if we replaced two nostrils with one giant nostril, we might not create a better breathing system. We might create a worse one. But before we talk about why, there is another question. Did humans ever have one nostril? Did early humans start with one big opening and then evolve two? The answer is no. Early humans did not evolve from a one-nostril version. By the time humans existed, two nostrils were already ancient, much older than humans, much older than monkeys, much older than mammals. Our two nostrils come from very old vertebrate ancestors, and originally, nostrils were not mainly for breathing. They were for smelling. Ancient animals needed to detect chemicals in their environment, food, danger, mates, predators. The nose began as a sensory system before it became the breathing system we know today. So humans did not suddenly invent two nostrils. We inherited them, just like we inherited two eyes, two ears, two arms, and two sides of the body. Two nostrils are part of an ancient left-right body design. But that still leaves the big question. Why keep two? Why not merge them into one larger opening? One giant nostril might allow more air to rush in, but faster air is not always better air. It may be colder, drier, less filtered, less controlled. It is like saying a house would be better if the front door was huge. Maybe more air would enter, but so would dust, insects, rain, and chaos. Your nose is not trying to maximize airflow, it is trying to control airflow, and two nostrils help with that. Now here's the strange part. Your two nostrils are not always working equally. Right now, one nostril is probably more open than the other. A few hours later, they may switch. This is called the nasal cycle. One side does more of the breathing, the other side slightly rests, then they trade roles. So when one nostril feels blocked, it does not always mean something is wrong. Sometimes your nose is just running its normal rhythm. This helps balance moisture and airflow. If the same passage was forced to handle strong airflow all the time, it could dry out more easily. But with two nostrils, your body can shift the workload. One side works harder, one side recovers, then they switch. A single giant nostril cannot do that. There is no left side, no right side, no alternating system. Just one big opening doing everything all the time. The second reason is smell. We usually think of nostrils as breathing holes, but they are also smell sensors, and having two of them gives your brain more information. It is similar to why two ears are better than one. With two ears, your brain can compare sound from both sides. With two nostrils, your brain can compare smell information from both sides. This does not mean humans can track smells like dogs, but your brain can use differences between the nostrils to get extra information about the smell around you. One giant nostril would mix everything together. You could still smell food. You could still smell smoke. You could still smell danger, but you would lose some of that two-sided comparison. The third reason is backup. Two nostrils are like two lanes on a road. If one lane is blocked, traffic can still move through the other. If you have a cold, allergies like swelling or irritation on one side, the other nostril can still help. It may not be perfect, but it is better than having one single opening. Because with one giant nostril, if that opening gets blocked, swollen, or injured, the whole system suffers. One big nostril sounds powerful, but it also creates one big weakness. The fourth reason is structure. The wall between your nostrils is called the septum. It separates the two nasal passages, but it also helps support the shape of the nose. Without that middle structure, the nose would need a very different design. One giant opening might be harder to support, easier to dry out, and less stable. So the nose is not designed like a simple pipe. It is designed like a controlled tunnel system. Two entrances, internal curves,
Filters, smell sensors, alternating airflow, backup breathing. That is why one giant nostril is not really an upgrade. It is the kind of idea that sounds smart only when you imagine the nose as a whole. But the moment you understand what the nose actually does, one giant nostril starts looking terrible. So the next time one nostril feels blocked, maybe your nose is not broken. Maybe it is just taking turns. Because two nostrils are not a mistake. They are an ancient design that is much smarter than one giant nostril.